Alrighty. Doesn't look like anyone's here yet, but that doesn't mean can't get the stream sort of started. I'll just wait for the first few people to show up and keep going from there. Hopefully I'm coming through on the microphone. Hello, Patchy. Sorry, this is actually Radio Indiana Jones. I think Radio Happy's in the next building. I'll just let the opening sequence play out while we wait for a couple more people. As a recap for anyone who might not have been here for the first stream, last time we got started, we entered La Mulana, we went through the guidance gate and destroyed its guardian, the mighty two-headed snake Amphisbaena, and then we moved on to the Mausoleum of the Giants, read the Legend of the Giants, and defeated the Giants' final guardian, Sakit. Last time, at the very end, Elder Zelpud had sent us a message asking us to come back up to the surface because he had something to tell us. I joked that I would be leaving him on read for a week, but turned out I actually left him on read for approximately 3 months, so sorry, Zelpud. By the way, am I coming through alright? I was messing a lot with the audio levels last night because the first stream you could barely hear me over the music. So it would be great to have some feedback on how things are right now because, of course, I can't hear my own stream because if I did, it would create a horrifying feedback loop that would destroy the world. Ah, thank you. Takes a load off my mind. The ideal is essentially that you can hear the music, but it's not drowning me out. Well... yeah, I'm not gonna let the opening play out twice. Might as well get started. Thank you. Alright. So here we are. Zelpud's tent is over here. Let's see what he has to tell us. There you are. Got something I wanted to tell you. This here's a story that's been passed down in the village. Those that set them complex traps in the ruins are waiting for the strong one. I don't know who's waiting, it's just an old legend. And I find it hard to believe that anyone could live in the ruins. But legend has it someone sleeps within the ruins waiting to help this strong one. I thought it might be good for you to keep an eye out for that sort of thing, since it seems your research is coming along. Of course, I have no idea where this someone is supposed to be sleeping. You want to hear that again? No thanks, I think we're good. Well, seems that as opposed to the last time Zelpud called us up here, he did actually have something legitimately important to say. So, there's someone waiting in the ruins for some sort of strong one, presumably a chosen one of some variety? Hey, Frog! Good to see you. We are very low on shurikens after the Sakit battle, but it's not really worth it at this point in the game to go buying sub-weapon ammo too much. So instead, If I seem suddenly much worse with the controls, it's because I've been playing the sequel to this game a lot recently, and its controls are quite different, so I'm going to have to readjust. Ah yes, you weren't here, Frog, but the Holy Grail is what lets us warp between different areas. And we've finished the Gate of Guidance, and the Mausoleum of the Giants. And we have, the only other thing we have are the Hermes boots, which increase our walking speed, but they have a secondary secret application, which is that they allow us to run up slopes covered in oil. You might be wondering, where would we find slopes covered in oil? The answer? Egypt. Normally, these slopes would actually be impassable, but since we can move faster with the Hermes boots, we can just climb up them. Which essentially means we can now much more fully explore the Temple of the Sun. Which is good, because the Temple of the Sun is the third area of the game, if you're going in order. So, we were actually here briefly before. This chest doesn't actually open yet, but the ladder came down and trapped us. In general, the Temple of the Sun has a bunch of nasty traps. Nothing that kills you outright, with a couple of very small exceptions, but lots of things that block you off from progress. For example, this. It's actually the pressure plate here that opens that treasure box. And I've got some interesting stuff right here. So down there is a big flower-shaped light, which we were told to illuminate the platforms last time. What you have to do is hit that wedge to drop the ball down, at which point the light will turn on and illuminate those platforms. Unfortunately, once we do that, we actually can't really get out of here. Because, well, that wall's in our way. So, we have to warp out. The Temple of the Sun is super deadly if you don't have the Holy Grail. And you really, really should have the Holy Grail. And hey, a map. Looks like we're currently in the Watchtower, which fits with the tablet we read in the first part that said, Watchtower soars above the Temple of the Sun. What I'm interested in, however, is this little detail right here. Jump into the sun. Let's register that real quick. Make sure we can remember it later. Also, there's this odd thing on the roof, which we're not entirely sure what to do with. Oh yeah, text registration. That's actually a feature of software on our computer. The software I have installed: emails from Elder Zelpud, ability to read the text, map, detects hidden shops via sound, and text saving software. Press the save message button when text is being displayed and it will be saved. Yes, the computer you have, well, the little laptop computer you have, the Mobile Super X, is extremely important. So there's a pedestal here. Let's put down a weight. Played a sound, but doesn't seem to do anything on this screen. Oh well. these platforms would not just be invisible, but intangible if I hadn't turned that light on. And then I jump off of them like a dumbass while I'm trying to scan a statue. I'm good at this game, I promise. Either way, we have a statue of the Egyptian deity Hathor, the goddess of love and joy. And this guy is just here to let us know that, yeah, we can't get back up from here. We're going to have to keep going through. Oh well, we can get to that area later. Or not, because once again, we have to look right back. Alright. Oh! That thing that was on the ceiling has just dropped down. But this is actually a clever little bit of puzzle design. Nothing tells us what we need to do with this thing precisely. Although I believe there was an email from the Elder a while back. Yes, there's a trolley hanging down at the top of the Temple of the Sun, and you've got to cut it down, but I don't know any of the details. Nice little bit of design here. So, once the trolley's down, you actually physically can't push it in the wrong direction, because you can't push things on oily slips. So you try to push it from this direction, and the trolley goes where it's supposed to go. Kill the Cat Sith. This is where earlier we got both the text-saving software from that shop down there and the knife, which I'm not using at the moment because it's not the best for parts of this area. Although I might switch into it in a bit. Continue pushing the trolley downwards. There are some bits here where you physically also can't push the trolley to the left. So unfortunately that good design I mentioned was a one-time thing. But here's something interesting. This door was completely blocked off the last time we were here, as I recall. If we check inside, for the record, that's not the character talking, as we'll see later. That's an inscription on the statue. Because, yeah, that's a stone statue. My name is Mulbrook. By order of the four philosophers, I, Mulbrook, await the Strong One. Under the divine protection of Isis, my life is preserved in an eternal slumber. In accordance with the ancient contract, I shall lend my powers to the one who awakens me. More about that Strong One. And yes, these enemies are literally called hedges, and they are blue spiny things that go fast. So yes, they are in fact Sanics. Again with one of these little circular things that we don't entirely know what they do yet. Oh, an email. It's me, slick and shiny and bald. I've got a little hair left, you know. Anyways, there are some slippery parts in these ruins. Once you start slipping, ain't no way you're climbing up to the top. But someone with quick feet might be able to make it. Since you can get all the way down here without having to climb up any of the oily surfaces... Hi, Zeno. Not much. We actually just got started. I'll explain to you this in a second. That's supposed to be a hint from Zelpud to go get the Hermes boots. But since we already have the Hermes boots... well. Anyway, all that you missed, Zeno, was we talked to Elder Zelpud a bit, and he told us that apparently there's a group of people living in the ruins who are awaiting a chosen one. And we also pushed a trolley through the Temple of the Sun a bit. Oop. Ow. There is man, therefore there is woman. A weapon shall not be used within the woman. Okay, La Mulana. I'm gonna go ahead and record that because that might be important later. Once again, all these statues in the background are scannable, but they say about what you'd expect. Statue of Anubis, statue of Osiris, so on and so forth. Ooh, that is a very nice mustachioed sun. This looks to be approximately the center of the Temple of the Sun, in terms of, well, worship, because, I mean, it's middle of a big pyramid. This temple is apparently dedicated to the sun, and there's a big sun. Nope, don't want to deal with that. So the other way to go is down here. And hey, we found our trolley. And if we stand separately from the trolley for some reason, our weight is enough to make this elevator descend. Oh, the pig rat? Those are Kodama rats. They're a thing from Japanese mythology. They basically scream at you and then explode. Almost every enemy in this game either has some interesting, specific in-game lore, or is from some sort of mythology. This guy, for example, is a masked man, who, they're essentially cavemen living in the ruins, and they wear masks to distinguish friend from foe. Since I am not wearing a mask, they are attacking me. Also, that red stuff is body hair. To the one who has solved all the puzzles, make thy descent now. We're not going to do that, because that leads to the boss. We have a statue of Bastet, and in a bit of a dick move for people who are looking for the achievement for scanning absolutely every scannable object in this game, if you scan directly to the left of Bastet, you get to scan the rails that this blue floor piece was moving on. We also have this eye again. We've been seeing it around. A wall with a relief of a huge eye. It seems to be hiding something very important. Ow. Meditate under Wedget. Do nothing more than pray. Okay. How vague and potentially ominous. Oh, shit. That was, not great. Well. I believe we actually ran into this, No, we couldn't have. Anyway, it's been 5,000 years since the last customer. And, the only major thing he's selling besides more weights right now, and this thing that's sold out, is a heat-proof case. But no, we're gonna make him wait another 5,000 years. We don't need a heat-proof case right now. Anyway. So we've managed to get almost all the way through this, and we have a couple of clues. Meditate under Wedget, jump into the sun, and a weapon shall not be used inside the woman. Oh, and don't put a weight on that pedestal down there. As you can see from all the skeletons around it, that is a trap. The holy fish dwells on this rock. It shall be transformed into a scale sphere when polished by a maiden of purity. It shall protect thou from the impure water. That's actually not a puzzle hint, it's just telling us what the scale sphere does. That's an item that we might get later. Oh, that beeping was because there is a hidden shop in this room. And I think I can see exactly where it is. It's probably inside that, that block right there. But we can't get to it yet because of that little round thing above it. We need to find a way to activate that to get to this shop. This treasure chest doesn't seem to open. Got a statue of Horus here. And either the Eye of Ra, or I believe this one's the Eye of Horus. It confused me for a long time when people were talking about those. Turns out it's the direction the eye is facing. If the pupil of the eye is on the it's on the left side of the image, then it's the Eye of Horus, and if it's on the right side, it's the Eye of Ra. Ow. Call forth the power of the twins. The twins are 2 and 1. The twins are identical to each other. Again, this is not going to be specifically useful for a puzzle. It's mostly just talking about a later area. So, big obvious pedestal here, but let's wait on that for a second. The Eye of Horus, the left eye of the god Horus, symbolizes that which sees all, also known as the Eye of Wedget. Now that sounds definitely very familiar. Meditate under Wedget, do nothing more than pray. Oh, I solved that puzzle earlier than I meant to, so let me explain how it works. If you stand under the Eye of Wedget for about 10 seconds and do absolutely nothing, that chest will open. If you try to put a weight on this pedestal, that red ball will fall on you and hurt you. You really best do nothing more than pray. And for our patience, we get access to the Ankh Jewel, which will allow us to fight the boss when we feel we need to. But instead of going down there and fighting the boss immediately, like I've been generally doing with the areas, there's a little something else. But before I do that, I'm gonna head back very quickly to the surface to sit in the hot spring for a bit and heal back up. The Temple of the Sun is definitely what I consider kind of... If you've been playing the game normally, the Temple of the Sun is probably going to be the point of divergence, because there's a really big detour that you can take in it, that I'm about to take, that it's almost designed for you to do it. Basically gets you into an area of the game that, while heavily limited, is a bit of a later area. How do the areas work, like, geometrically, like, if you keep going deeper around? They don't. People have actually tried to, figure out a map of the place, and it is actually impossible. The geometry just does not function. But in general, we can tell is that La Mulana appears to be built into the side of some sort of mountain. Yep. All of the, at least most of the areas on their own make sense. The problem is how they're connected. There are several cases where you can go down from one area, keep going down all the way to the bottom of the second area, go out at the bottom of the second area, and end up at the top of the first area again. And that's not to mention that there's a couple of actual screen warping bottomless pits. in some of the later areas. So the thing I'm going to do is take this ladder up into here, the inside of the pyramid. And we've got a little message here. Those that fly shall be cast down. That's a hint. Kill the bats. And the chest will open. And we get another life upgrade. Very nice. The woman shall be with child when within the man. I'm not sure that's how that works, but okay, Mulana. Let's just leave that for now. The path that connects the two pyramids. Well, we know where one of those pyramids is. We're right in it right now. What if it's about a second pyramid? I suppose they do, actually. Okay, so. Delete meditate under wedge it since we did that. Jump into the sun. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Maybe we should... Oh! That's something. Oh. Feel this may be some... This may be a bit dangerous, but... Oh! That wasn't me! Ow. There's a shortcut path I should open here before anything else, actually. I believe it's all the way over there. Yeah, that sounds right. Yep, pressure plate right here. And what it does is open a way out of the pyramid. Actually, before we go on, do you see that little square male figure at the top of this screen? Just keep that in mind for much, much later in the game. So, path that connects two pyramids. Huh. I suppose that this is still kind of the sun's area, so maybe we should jump into the... Welcome to the Temple of the Moonlight. So, the way this basically works. The Temple of the Sun is coded as the male temple, whereas the Temple of the Moonlight is coded as the female temple. Specifically, while the whole areas are called the Temple of whatever, the actual temples themselves are in fact pyramids. Which means that that instruction about not using a weapon inside the woman means that if you attempt to use your weapon at all while inside the Temple of Moonlight Pyramid, you will get zapped. Here's a extremely obvious signal that this is the female pyramid. Notice that interesting carving on the wall up there, right under the eye. Yeah, it's a uterus. Now, if it's a bull's head, why are those little egg-shaped things on the end of the horns? Water will provide the power for the tower to soar the skies. Again, not exactly a puzzle solution, but a hint as to something that's happening later. The sound of the ocarina may be heard only by a woman with child. Was that... Am I remembering Legend of Zelda very, very wrong? We should probably explore the whole pyramid before I go up. This bit is annoying because we are still in the pyramid, and if we try to kill these bats, we will, in fact, get zapped by lightning. Hello? Huh, weird statue. You can't use weapons at all in the pyramid. Most of the screens of the pyramid don't have any enemies to kill, although they do have pots to tempt you into breaking them. Both main weapons and sub-weapons count, by the way. Sorry to hear that, Frog. Thankfully, we are now out of the pyramid, and can go ahead and start killing things again. This bit is a bit of a trap, which I'm not going to demonstrate because it's the kind of trap that is extremely annoying. You see this platform right above me? If you stand on it, it breaks. And if it breaks, then you can't access that ladder until the entire area reloads. Because that block will just fall all the way down. Mulana can be a very cruel game sometimes. Those seeking Eden, open the 5 boxes. Mind thy manners and open them starting with the one closest. This is part of the Seeking Eden puzzle. I didn't even think of that, Patchy. Let's actually delete this as well, since that was for the Mausoleum of the Giants. The Seeking Eden puzzle is a very complicated way to access a later area. We will be finding them around in general, and I will be recording them whenever I can. The Seeking Eden puzzle itself is performed inside this area. I do have my glyph reader on, right? Yeah, I have my glyph reader on. There are some things in the ruins that are written in an even older script that the glyph reader can't translate. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that right now. Illegible writing can't be read. Thanks, Zelpud. It's me. There's some writing that the glyph reader can't translate, right? The normal ancient scripture was written by the 4 philosophers from the race of 7th children. The other writing, written by folks from an even older time, cannot be translated. I'll look into other methods, so hang on. Yeah, we basically just have to wait for Zelpud to fix the problem. There is a Holy Grail tablet down there, but at the moment it's a trap. We can't actually warp to it. I'll explain why when we actually get there. Oh yes, fairies, yeah. That was right after we met the Fairy Queen in the Endless Corridor, and Zelpud attempted jive talk when discussing fairies. What's up here? Eden! Okay. Nice. This place is lovely. Paradise deep in the fog. Clear the fog and you will be surrounded by more happiness. Head for the Tree of Eden with the fruit of paradise in hand. I suppose this must be the Tree of Eden? Yeah, that's, I'd say that's pretty explicit. Man. Don't seem to be able to get anywhere into Eden. That's unfortunate. Everything's blocked off. Ah well. We'll just have to find that Fruit of Eden so we can explore this wonderful area. Okay, this is going to be tricky. Because I have to deal with a whole bunch of bone-throwing skeletons while trying not to fall. Okay. We got a grapple claw. And welcome to one of my favorite emails in the game. It's me. Did you find the grapple claw yet? If I remember right, you've got ninja blood in you. I heard that from your father. If you use that grapple claw, you can scale walls like a ninja. Jump up towards the wall and hold up and towards the wall. You will fall by releasing up. You can also jump further by pressing the jump button while hanging onto the wall. So yes, just casually, Professor Lameza is descended from ninjas. And that's why he's an archaeologist. But yes, what Zelpud was saying is correct. If we jump towards the wall and hold up, we can cling on to it now. We can just fall off the wall, or if we're feeling saucy, we can jump off the wall. Oh, shit. And here's the boneyard. In the sequel game, they actually make fun of that email again. There's a bit where there's a sign before you actually get into the new ruins proper that basically says, "This jump is too hard for normal people. Do not attempt unless you are a ninja or archaeologist." Atop the navel of Neptune. I'll save that somewhere. Also, as a fun note, not all of these are actual skeletons. Skeleton is a term for the very basic one that just walks around and doesn't throw bones or anything. There's actually 3 kinds of skeletons: skeletons, skeletons and skeletons. I swear I'm not making that up. This area looks dangerous, and it is if you jump onto it, but you can just walk through the spikes and get out of there before they come up. And you get the map for your troubles. Yes, now that we have the grapple claw, that's actually really huge. We can get to a whole bunch of places we wouldn't be able to get to before. As well as get pretty much objectively the single best main weapon in this game, in this very area, in fact. It's a bit tricky, though. So, what you have to do in order to get it, and I honestly don't remember where the clue for this is, but if you whip through this wall, you find this small area. If thou hungers for power, be prepared to commit the ultimate sacrifice. We can't really do anything with this block, it looks like. There's definitely a weapon right there. But there doesn't seem to be anything we can do to get it. So let me briefly switch the knife. And smack this skull a couple times. Yes, you can get crushed by that boulder. But we get the axe. The axe is very slow compared to other weapons, but it also does by far the most damage. I'm sorry, what? That's actually one of the developer rooms. We just need to do something else to actually unlock them. Yeah, the, Sorry, what mentions ninjas? The, grapple claw? Or the shuriken? Yeah, but both of those weapons mention ninjas. I mean, of course it's going to. This is a Japanese game, after all. Yeah. That is about all we can really do at the moment in the Temple of the Moonlight, with, well, one small exception. We can still go try and get that tablet. Behold, the Temple of Moonlight is the sanctuary of lovely women. So yay, now we can warp back here whenever we want, right? Well, no. The Temple of the Moonlight doesn't appear to show up on our warp wheel. Surface, Gate of Guidance, Mausoleum of the Giants, Temple of the Sun, Endless Corridor, Surface. It's just not there. So what's the deal? Well, the deal is the Temple of the Moonlight is a backside area. What we've been exploring and warping to so far have all been frontside areas. Each area has a front and a back. We're not actually supposed to be able to get to backside areas right now, and we can't warp to them naturally. We will be able to warp to them later, but not right now. So instead, let's head back to the surface to heal, and then continue with the Temple of the Sun. Now with our new super awesome weapon and the ability to climb walls. We should also probably restock on weights. Weights are, they're not many pieces of wood. I think they're supposed to be, like, essentially stone tubes. Or cylinders, more accurately. What does Zelpid have to say? Fine. Jeez. Okay, back to the Temple of the Sun. And this time, let's go over to the bit with all the I was about to say that part and not fuck it up, but then I fucked it up. This jump is somewhat unreasonably hard, in my opinion. Of course, compared to stuff that we get later, this jump is pretty much nothing, but... This room is suspiciously empty. Hi! What's this guy's name? I can never remember. He's supposed to be much harder, but the axe takes care of him in about 3 hits. So, that's the thing. Challenge the Inferno Cavern. The road ahead is long. Those who proceed, be prepared to face death. We could do that. Or we could take a look at the name of this room. Isis's Anterior Chamber. I'll get back to that after I head over to show off something else. Whip only run? Well, actually, the whip much later on becomes one of the best weapons in the game. Right now it kind of sucks, but once you start getting whip upgrades, because the whip's the only weapon that can actually be upgraded over the course of the game. Still, I think that even at the whip's full upgrade, which is more than almost any other weapon, a fully powered axe does more damage. It almost literally is the Castlevania whip upgrade path, because you start off with like a regular whip, and then you get a chain whip, and then the flail whip. I was told to choose 3 women. They are waiting at the promised location. I couldn't do it. They yet still wait within the moon-gazing pit. To the one who reads this now, please pierce her heart in my stead, she who never lets her smile fade. That is an extremely important puzzle hint. For later. And this guy tells us that the goddess Isis is at the Temple of the Sun. She gave birth to Horus and is a figure of motherhood, and because of this, she waits silently perched higher than any other god. So what they mean is that you should check the statues. Here we have the statues of Set and Nephthys. We are on the 3rd row from the top. As a side note, when we talked to the Fairy Queen, we were offered their help, but we needed to prove our worth by finding Isis's pendant somewhere in the ruins. Actually, we're gonna have to warp back because we can't climb up from here. So the idea basically is Isis is perched higher than any other god. We found Isis's anterior chamber, which is essentially what anterior means is before. So Isis's chamber is somewhere connected to this one. And she's higher than any other god. So we whip through. We hit through the roof, and there's a statue of Isis. And once you read this, you get a pedestal, which opens the chest. Isis's pendant does nothing on its own, but we can show it to the Fairy Queen in order to get access to fairies, which I'm going to do right now, since it's super easy to get to the Fairy Queen, since she is on the in the same room as the Endless Corridor tablet. That is indeed Isis's pendant. My fellow fairies will help you now as promised. We shall make it so that tiny lights are visible in specified areas of the ruins. Come into contact with those lights and the fairies will appear. As I am the queen, I shall remain here. Return to me if you are faced with a task beyond my fairies' powers. Thanks, Fairy Queen. We still can't really go anywhere in the Endless Corridor, though. It's basically a bunch of looping rooms. We'll fix that later. So we're just getting stuff all over the place. We have an axe, we have the ability to climb walls, and now we have fairies. I'll show how fairies work probably sometime this stream, but for now, we have one more door to go through. The Inferno Cavern. Thanks, Zelpod. It's me. It's getting hot today. Speaking of hot, lava is also pretty hot. Don't fall in. It'll be very bad. But if you are prepared to face danger and soldier forward, something good might just happen. You're still young, just take on the challenge. This is an extremely important tablet. You want to record this tablet as soon as you can, somewhere. Because this tablet is critical for a puzzle near the very end of the game. Ah! Yep, those platforms crumble away when you walk on them and drop you in the lava, which ticks away your health extremely quickly. And yes, that life jewel was a total fake and just drops you into more lava. Are you sensing a pattern here yet? When the snakes are enraged, she'll open. Oh, well, we hit that one snake a couple times, and now it's shooting stuff at us. I'd say that's pretty mad. And we got our map. Now, here's the thing about the Cavern of the Inferno. Lava hurts. There is an item that allows you to not get hurt nearly as much by lava. That item is in the Cavern of the Inferno, at the end of it. Stick to the walls. Once the flames die down, kick off the walls and proceed. Frog, please don't jinx it. Yes, it in fact is in lava. Sort of. You have to wade through a tiny bit of lava to get to it. The kick off the walls thing is actually a puzzle for this particular area called the Pit of Flames, where in order to make your way through this little flame-bursting gauntlet, you have to have the grapple claw. But I can't actually access the thing that it gives access to yet. So two weapons are kept in this land. One lies beyond Pazuzu's guard, the other lies in the Serdab of Light, which extends from the Pit of Flames. So this is the Pit of Fire. Oh. There is more to this land than meets the eye. It is a pivotal location. Tread a different path and then return to this land again. So this is the Serdab of Light. It is an extremely complex block puzzle. I am not going to do it yet, because I don't have the item that lets me push blocks quickly. So this would be a nightmare for everyone to watch. Normally I actually do this early, but that's when I'm playing on my own, and I don't have people watching who will be extremely angry at me if they have to watch me push blocks like this for about half an hour. This is where things in the Inferno Cavern start to get very dangerous. Because once you fall into that lava, with the periodic lava rocks popping out, it becomes very, very difficult to get out. Which is why the first thing I'm going to do is make a beeline for the Grail Tablet. For the record, we are very much out of sequence here. The Inferno Cavern is the 5th area, but yeah. That's actually why I don't have the block pushing thing yet, because that is in the 4th area, and we've completely messed up the sequence at this point. Resembles the stupa of India's Ajanta caves. The centerpiece seems to be a statue of a goddess with a snake's body. Interesting. And here, we get an extremely important thing. Oh shit. Well... And that is why you immediately save. We obtained additional text memory. Doubles our text storage space. Previously, we could save up to 10 things worth of text. Now we have 20 slots of text. This will very much be an important thing when we actually get to, like, more stuff that does really big puzzles. And here's that item I was talking about that lets you survive in lava. You see how that pedestal is in the lava? Oh, and also we have a Seeking Eden puzzle. This area is called the Treasury of Ice. So we basically just have to bite the bullet. You totally can write them down on paper. The text memory thing is mostly just for convenience's sake. It was not in the original version of the game, the pre-remake freeware version. And so you did, in fact, have to write down every single hint. And we get the Ice Cape. Now, lava kills us much more slowly. For the time being, that is all we're going to do in the Cavern of the Inferno. Oh yes, and this just tells us what the Ice Cape does. A cloak made from ice protects one from the heat. You know, I've played Pokemon. Isn't ice weak to fire? Oh well. of course, we need to go heal ourselves. But yeah. And for the record, by the way, you're seeing all this from someone who's played this game hundreds of times. The first time anyone plays the Inferno Cavern, they generally die multiple times before ever reaching the save point or the ice cape. So it's a bit of an infamously noob-killing area. Now, what we're going to need to do first, before anything else, is actually go back to the Mausoleum of the Giants. Is this the right shop, or is it the other one? Ah, no, this was the Hermes Boots. We're going to have to make another small detour in order to access the fourth area. Right down here. This is the Twin Labyrinths. Oh yes, the music of La Mulana is absolutely amazing. It's one of the high points of the game. The twins were the sole survivors of the first child. The hero of the third child captured them, and thus obtained the wisdom of the first child. That's not a puzzle hint. That is actually, well, lore. I'm not going to go too much into lore this early on, since it'll become much more clear later on what's kind of going on in these ruins. But what I will say is that look for mentions of children or mothers. Those tend to be important. The Twin Labyrinths is extremely complicated to navigate at this point in the game, since we don't actually have the thing that lets us navigate it properly. But at the very least, we can get here and get an important item. The helmet, which protects us against waterfalls. That's not all we have to do here. You see, there's a tablet later in the game that I'm going to reveal right now that's in this area that basically says, the little brother's shop is for regulars, the big brother's shop is for exclusive clientele. So, basically what that means is, at the little brother's shop, you have to buy a certain amount of things. So I'm going to buy a whole bunch of weights, since I always need weights. Dear valued customer, thank you for your continued patronage at Little Brother's shop. As a sign of my gratitude, allow me to introduce a special shop to you. My big brother has a shop here in the Twin Labyrinths as well. He sells many rare, one-of-a-kind items. I don't believe we have access right now, but the Big Brother shop is going to give us a critical story item later on in the game. I'm just taking care of that right now. Beyond the skull lies the entrance to the something starting with E and ending with R, and it's a very long word or possibly multiple words. Huh. might have noticed that we only went down 2 screens originally, and we've already gone up 3. The twin labyrinths are kind of fucked. There's, I believe, a way out, but it's... Oh, wait, hey. Ankh Jewel. Good thing I found that. I was about to warp out. Alrighty, Important items are always in chests. Or hiding behind walls or something. Nothing is ever out in the open. Oh, the Ankh Jewels, they're used to activate boss fights. Yeah, let's warp out. So I put it off long enough. Let's give the third boss a shot. See if I can get some experience in order to refill my health here. There we go. Lovely health refill. So, to the one who has solved all the puzzles, make thy descent now. So, you were wondering what Ankh Jewels did? Meet Elmac. Bye, Elmac. I'd apologize for cutting the fight a bit short with the axe, but you really didn't miss much. He mostly just runs at you, shoots fireballs, and... Twin step. That time limit doesn't seem very nice. Zelpud. The twins cast a curse on the Twin Labyrinth. It's a curse from an ancient legend. Is there a stone tablet somewhere that mentions this? Find it in the poisonous fog should... Poison... Yeah, no, I'm out of here. Yeah, at the moment you can't get rid of that fog. For the record, oh, fuck. I forgot these statues are holy. I normally actually don't fight Elmac this early. I didn't realize Normally he's a much harder fight for me, honestly. I don't know how I did that. But now that we have Elmac down and health to spare, let's quickly go back to the Gate of Guidance and finally show off the fourth area, the one we are actually supposed to do at this point. The spring in the sky. Open the floodgate. The water will once again flow. Open the floodgate of Oannes. Another weird statue man. This area has waterfalls. Waterfalls will dump you straight down through them if you don't have the helmet, at which point the water just rushes off of you, as you can see here. It is a place built by the Giants. Well, that's interesting. In the Giants' Mausoleum, we were informed that the Giants were building some sort of great tower to send the Mother back to heaven, whatever that means. And here, well, actually in the Temple of Moonlight, it said, water will provide the power for the tower to soar the skies. And this place full of water was apparently built by the Giants. Here's where we get a pretty bad sub-weapon, the Caltrops. Here's what the Caltrops do. They fly up behind you. Then anything that steps on them takes damage, including you. Cowdrops. No, Caltrops. The priest Oannes takes the form of a fish. This land flourishes under him, as only he may close the floodgate. Definitely a lot of stuff about floodgates here. Nice, a map. At this point, the water still damages us, but, well, the interesting thing is, water damages us because it's very slightly poisonous, at the same rate that lava damages us with the ice cape on. So this one just tells us what the 4 types of fairies do. The fairy will gently heal you, the fairy will help you fight, the fairy will provide treasure, and the fairy will reveal secrets. So, there's 4 kinds of fairies. A healing fairy, a weapon fairy, a luck fairy, and a key fairy. They do what those things say. And that shiny thing there is a fairy point. So this one is a healing fairy. So it will very slowly restore my health over time. The healing fairy is the most basic and common fairy that you'll run into. and also one of the most useful. And now this is the Room of Origin. Here's a mini-boss. His name is, as I recall, Jackrabbit. He shoots lasers at you. Collect the 4 sigils. The path will expand further still. Ow. Yeah, the lasers can get annoying, but with the axe and the healing fairy, this guy's kind of a pushover. By the way, if it seems like I'm breezing through everything with the axe, don't worry, that's just because these are the initial areas. Once we get into the mid-game, the game will start expecting that I actually have the axe and ramp up the difficulty to boot. Plus, the 4th boss is going to be a pain either way. When the waters of the ocean calmed, a new child was born. In pursuit of the sun and the moon, man and woman, life and death, a small, wingless, gillless child was born. And now we get the Origin Seal, which is going to be extremely important. Oh yes, these leaping fish. They are annoying as hell. The Mulana community, due to the original playthrough of the freeware game by a certain deceased crab, tends to call these guys surprise fish. Their technical name is water leapers, but honestly I prefer surprise fish too. At least now they're less of a surprise because you can actually see them in the thing. And here, we get a second item, the Scales Feeder. This allows us to just straight up survive in water for any amount of time, no problem. We don't have to breathe or anything. There's a little image here of Mushusu? I don't know how to pronounce that. A beast belonging to Marduk, the most powerful god in Babylonian mythology, originally born of primordial goddess Tiamat. So, this is what the Origin Seal does. Let's talk to Zelda. Me. There are items that look like rocks with La Mulana script on them. They can be used like keys in these here ruins. If you touch a keyhole, or rather sort of a small round mural, with the same symbol, it will break. With that, you might be able to solve some puzzles. Those round things that we've been running into a lot, that's what the seals do. Oh! La Mulana has a ton of stuff from a bunch of different cultures. The Guidance Gate is indicative of the Levanta ruins in Mexico, the Olmec civilization. The Mausoleum of the Giants has imagery of Nazca lines and Aboriginal mythology. The Temple of the Sun is Egyptian-themed in general, as is, to an extent, the Temple of the Moonlight. The Spring in the Sky is very much Sumerian, Babylonian, that kind of stuff. And the Endless Corridor, if you notice, has a very Chinese theme to it. These ruins, in story, are called the Origin of Civilization. Basically, everything started here. Absolutely everything. We get those gears running, then a waterfall comes down here and fills this area. And then if we smack this gear a couple times to get it rolling, Well, we'll come back to this room later. Oh, shit. What it importantly does is open up this treasure chest, which gives us the glove. Yes, the seahorses. The glove allows us to push blocks super fast. So... oh. How does what work? The gloves? Or the seahorse? Oh, because they're gloves of power. Gloves that beef up your upper body strength. Block pushing speed increases. So before we do anything else in the Spring in the Sky, let's go back to the Temple of the Sun for a moment. And go in a direction we didn't actually go the first time around. Although actually, the first thing we should do... Yep. So it looks like that seal is now unlocked. Ow. Mulbrook slept well. Oh, are you the one who woke me? I see. Then I'll lend you a hand. Mulbrook will help you, but still terribly sleepy. For now, here is some useful information. Wedget is another name for the god Horus. Horus is the god the fifth children worshipped. It's an eye that supposedly sees everything from on high. See? Mulbrook knows pretty much anything. Sorry, sleepy. Going to sleep for a while. See you later. So we woke up the statue of Mulbrook. Mulbrook will be our primary hint system throughout La Mulana, and honestly, the hint system in this game is not great. There are some clues that you can only get through Mulbrook, but she doesn't... Oh, that's sort of hand-waved away. It's somewhat... the explanation basically is that the language Mulbrook is speaking is a progenitor of whatever language Lameza speaks, presumably Japanese, honestly. It's mostly just, like, the difference between Middle English and Modern English. Either that, or the glyph reader also works on spoken text. Which kind of makes a weird amount of sense, since your text recording software can also record people's voices, apparently. Mulbrook finally starting to wake up. Mulbrook is the daughter of an excellent tailor and one of the race of the four philosophers. Father worked for the philosophers, so naturally Mulbrook served them as well. Mulbrook was chosen to be your helper because of her excellence. So if you run into any problems, come see me. Mulbrook cannot move to preserve eternal life. So, Mulbrook's the hint system, but it works on La Mulana's weird-ass dialogue system, where the dialogue you get depends on where you are in the game. But the problem with that is that it works basically off of a each thing you do in the game, like every item you pick up, every puzzle you solve, adds values to an invisible counter that counts up towards the next hint. So it's quite possible that by the time you get stuck on a puzzle that you'll have gotten far enough in the game that the hint you needed for it has been buried by the next hint, and there's very few ways to get it back. So I'm not going to make too much of an effort to get all of Mulbrook's dialogue, because I don't want to have to warp back to the Temple of the Sun every time I do a thing. The big one that Mulbrook's important for, like the really big hint, is that she teaches you how to read the Mulanese numbering system, which is absolutely critical for one puzzle in the game. Actually, two puzzles, but one of those puzzles is optional. Anyway, let's move on. So now we can go down here. And hey, another seal, but we can't reach it. Fill this place with the mirror that owls the hit inside will come within thy reach. So, I'm going to assume I can trust your guys' intelligence and just say that what this is saying is, fill this place with water. The mirror that reveals the hidden side will come within thy reach. So, remember how I said that the way areas are connected in this game makes very little sense? This is one of the few times that connections between areas are actually important. Because if you look at where they are in the guidance gate, oh shit, you'll notice something about the positioning of two areas. The spring in the sky is directly above the Temple of the Sun. We need to go back to the spring, and this time, go down. I say as I go up. What I really mean is go down over here. Sail away. There thou wilt find where Bahamut slumbers. The Fishmaster holds the red light. Alright, you see that little crack in the wall there? Go up here, there's actually a hidden ladder that brings us here. Take the mirror into thy hand. It will reveal the truth of the ruins. There is a hidden side to every room, and the two sides become one. Enter the darkness, descend, proceed forward, ascend, then jump up and strike. Now, unfortunately, we now have to warp back, and go down the other way. For the record, I believe that these seahorse enemies are actually called hippocampi. The mother's wrath sank the earth. The people persevered at the bottom of the sea until her anger had subsided. They persevered until a child with the strength to rise to the surface was born. Yeah, there's also Greek elements scattered around. They usually, well, most ones are in the Twin Labyrinth, but there's a couple others in different places. So that pedestal doesn't actually do anything to the chest, it just gets rid of that laser. The Fishmaster holds the red light. Die. Above the sun is the spring in the sky. This one just straight up tells you that the spring in the sky is directly above the Temple of the Sun. And we get an Ankh Jewel. This water moves the tower. Transformed to power, it flows from here. And this right here has the Ankh symbol directly behind it on the wall. That thing that we use the Ankh Jewel on. So, activating that pedestal makes the actual Ankh appear up in the boss room, which is that room that had the boat in it from earlier. We still have a bit further down to go. There have been references, in general, to the Floodgate of Oannes. And hey, another Seeking Eden puzzle. Anunnaki resembles the mural of a god in Sumerian mythology. There are theories that they are aliens from the planet Nibiru. See, I had thought that this was just a fun little reference to actual real-life ancient aliens theories, and then I played La Mulana 2, and that's actually a huge plot point. But this is Anunnaki's stone basin. So, what we have to do here is destroy this thing holding the chain in place. Then, we have to get the chain moving. And once we do that, all of the water stored in Anunnaki's basin will drain out through the floor. These skeletons have nothing to say. And we're back in the Temple of the Sun. And this time, we have successfully filled it with water. The Chamber of Extinction. It's me. I believe there should be a dark room with no light somewhere in the ruins. There should be some places where you can light something. Maybe you have a weapon on hand that you can light those fires with? Well, no, we don't. Not yet, at least. Ow! Ah! Ah! Okay. However, we do have a hint here. Remember what that skeleton priest in Priest Hidlida in the Spring in the Sky told us? Enter the darkness, descend, proceed forward, ascend, then jump up and strike. So down, forward, up, jump, strike. Down, forward, up to this platform, and then jump and strike. That's really all we want to do in the Chamber of Extinction right now. Gives us a nice little treasure area with a ton of cool stuff, as well as a free weight to use on this pedestal, which will give us the bronze mirror. So, remember what this one said? The mirror that reveals the hidden side will come within thy reach? It's me! When you find a treasure called the Bronze Mirror, all the large entry-like passages that have been sealed before will be opened. Those are called gates, and you can go in by pressing up. Once inside, you can access a different version of the world, so to speak. That's right, there's an alternate side to these ruins, and it's very vast. Too bad, more work for you. Thanks, Zelbud. So that's what those eyes have been hiding. The eyes themselves only go away when you get the Bronze Mirror, but the gates will actually remain sealed until you beat the boss of the area. In this case, we access a different part of the Temple of Moonlight. And almost immediately, I was told to choose 3 women. They are waiting at the promised location. They still wait within the moon-gazing pit. Pierce the one who never lets her smile fade. This is the moon-gazing pit. Does anyone potentially see 3 women on screen? Yep, you have to pierce the smiling woman. And what that does is open up the entire Temple of Moonlight. So now, from either entrance, we can get anywhere we want. Ahead is the underworld palace where the god who governs death resides. Oh, shit. Yeah, these guys drain your health. They are not fun. There's not too much we can do right here at the moment. But hey, we have a couple other places we can go now besides just the Temple of Moonlight proper. There was one other eye-shaped doorway that we could find in the Mausoleum of the Giants. And welcome to the worst area in the game. Graveyard of the Giants is an icy floors area. Trust me, it's a goddamn nightmare. In the second game, there's also an icy floors area, but in that game you can get snow boots that allow you to move normally. No such luck here. This is going to be a problem for the entire game. Save anything mentioning gems. The red ruby means passion. The something sapphire signifies affection. The meanings are infused into the gemstones. Oh yes, these things. Thankfully, they're not quite as dangerous as they were in Etrian Odyssey. Also, if you notice, well actually you wouldn't because I don't have the map yet, but there's a little bit of a cheat on that. The where you saving text always tells you exactly which room it was saved in. And since we just saved that gem thing, we can find out this is Abuto's tomb. If you remember, Abuto was the one writing the history of the Giants in the Mausoleum of the Giants, so this dead body is probably him. Honestly, the most annoying thing about the FOEs is that they run away from you. The illusion has no end. The key to eternity rests within. A demon with a weapon brings forth the illusion. A demon that endlessly consumes life. That's extremely ominous. Fuck. There's a way to get back up from here, no worries. Oh yes, my apologies. One moment. It wasn't showing up in my volume mixer, but yeah. Don't worry, I've turned off Discord notifications now, or at least the sound for them. Sorry, guys. My eyes are not hollowed out holes. I wonder what I have to do. Oh yeah, and that coin chest down there is a trap. Don't activate it. You'll an enemy will spawn in essentially pointing a gun at you. Oh. Mu is the nameless one, the one who rises into the sky. going to save that because that's pretty important, honestly. This is a puzzle that we can't actually do anything with yet. Ow. Yeah, that block of ice is not fun. Art thou the chosen one or not? Proceed. We shall await thee ahead. And in here, we find the Tower of Ruin, the backside area of the Inferno Cavern. There's not much we want to do here right now, but we can open that chest and get a Sacred Orb. We now have half of the Sacred Orbs in the game. So our health has swelled all the way up to 160. And now I'm going to get the hell out of here because the Tower of Ruin is extremely dangerous. Yeah, that's not going to work. This puzzle looks doable, but it's actually pretty much impossible until you get a new ability. Oh, right. Almost forgot something we can do now. So, we got the Origin Seal. Seals are great. This one's pretty great. But, oh, and very delayed, we get the, message we're supposed to get when, we go into the Graveyard of the Giants, which is, me. I'm not bald. Ice is slippery. It can't be helped. Good luck! So anyway, we have the Origin Seal, and it's pretty cool. But, wouldn't you guys like another one? Because we can get another one right now. See, at the very beginning of the game, we went up here to find the map, and kind of just kept going because there was more stuff. But there was a thing about rapid water and waterfalls, and Zelp had basically sent us a message saying, don't go fucking around near the waterfall. Here's where we get tricky. We have to make a very, very specific jump. And we can still get pretty well screwed by bad luck if the Condor runs into us. We absolutely need the knife for this. Nothing else is quite fast enough. There's a little something down here. Thanks for buying La Mulana by Nigoro. Having fun exploring? Seeing as you made it all the way to this secret spot, have a look at this. It's one of our most treasured games, Mechary Master. Mechary, 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 Mechary Master. Enjoy and keep playing Nigoro games. So what is this Mechary Master? Nigoro's 5th Flash game. This simple action game has you flipping up skirts. Do not try at home. Let's just move on from that. I've actually taken a look at most of these games on their website. The basic plot of Mechary Master is that you are the wind god and you're a perverted old man and you're using the wind to flip up girls' skirts. It's silly. This one always takes a couple tries. I hit it, but... There we go. And then you get the birth seal. Not to mention... Well, we can't actually get that yet because the thing isn't here, but there's also very clearly a treasure chest hidden behind that rock, about halfway down the cliff. There's also... The rocks in this area are a lighter shade. That's an interesting thing to remember for later. Well, actually, you know what, how are you all feeling about the stream continuing? Because I often cut off my streams at about 2 hours, but I'm feeling perfectly fine. So if you guys are good to keep going, I can keep going as well. We haven't really reached a good stopping point yet. We're doing a lot of weird things to get items. Yeah, honestly, I can keep going. I'll just keep going for now until we reach a good point to stop. With no other obvious points, I'll just defeat the 4th boss. So, first thing we need to do. Let's go back to the Inferno Cavern. Because if you remember, now that we have the ability to push blocks fast, we have a block puzzle to do. At the bottom of this land lies the darkness that leads to death. Oh. Yeah, that's a mean trap. That is positioned right under that pot that gives you coins. If you just walk onto the coins, sentenced to death. Grade Equalizer is the death. Yeah, this is La Mulana. They really love screwing you over. Like, honestly, all the traps are extremely fair. They're usually either just, like, drop you into things if you get too greedy and move too quickly, or they're extremely well signposted with skeletons all over the place. But yeah. Believe it or not, the second game is full of even more dick moves. And, I recently played that one completely blind, so... yeah, I ran into most of them head first. Anyway, so... the idea behind this puzzle is you see all the blocks that are like in little alcoves in the wall? Well, we need to get blocks onto all of these little platforms, but we need to do it while keeping the blocks in the wall in good positions so that we can use them later, because as you can see, there's only 3 blocks on the screen and 6 platforms. There's 4 blocks in the wall, so almost all of the blocks are going to have to be on platforms of some variety. So first off, let's push this one over here. And then we can't actually push it to the left any further because there's no platform. So you have to push it down here, which releases that block. Did I do this? I didn't. I've already fucked this up. Okay, so here's what you actually do. You start with pushing this block. You want it, specifically, on that platform. Actually, that's not what you do. I keep... You see why I didn't want to do this without the fast block pushing? I'm going to push this here. Then you want to push this. Onto there. This drops down the 3rd block. We're going to be using this block as an extension to the platform so that we can push this block onto here. This block needs to go here, onto there. And, I think this is the right way to do it. I actually particularly like this one because it's got some clever stuff, especially using this block as a platform extender. But yeah, block puzzles can be kind of annoying. And finally, now that we have all the other blocks in the right positions, we make sure not to leave the screen by accident. Yes, that has happened to me at least once. It was pretty infuriating. And we get a bottle? Nope, the flare gun. One of the more interesting sub-weapons that will have some cool uses. Because the flare gun fires straight up. that's not all. Getting that second seal allows us to activate this. But before I go there, I'm going to take a quick moment to save. So, we need to get to that room that we just opened. But, problem is, it's guarded by a huge flaming pit. So here's what you do. This is where the grapple claw comes in handy. This room looks like another block puzzle, but it's actually not. It's just a random room full of blocks. The four presumably philosophers have turned to stone. They continue to protect the ruins. Right. So, the implication there is that those weird stone statues in empty rooms we've been seeing, those are the four philosophers. And so far we've seen, yes, 2 of them. Point it to the right, and right it shall go. Point it to the left, and left it shall go. Err just once, and it shall never reach thy hands. That is for a very, very mean puzzle that's coming up. This place was created by the Giants as a place for launching the tower with hot water. But the tower failed to fly, and this land was abandoned as a result. Thus, this land does not suffer divine retribution. He's right, actually. Those eyes that zap you with lightning when you hit things, they're nowhere here. And Frog, yes, it is one time only. Now, that said, you can reload a save and it'll be back to normal, but still. So, to even get to this puzzle, you have to start by fighting Pazuzu, who will throw rocks at you. He's an annoying jerk. Come on. Oh. Yeah, Pazuzu can be a bit of a bitch. Let's give that another shot. Fun fact, pushing blocks kills enemies. Eh. I really don't like fighting Pazuzu at this point in the game. He's just a bit too much of a I don't know, damage dealer to... There we go. Okay. Here's the puzzle. Now, when I say it's a mean puzzle, the explosion from the rock enemy. I said mean! Okay, you know what? I'm gonna heal up first because doing this at 124 health is a bit much. Pazuzu gets much easier if you go grab something that you can find in the Graveyard of the Giants. But actually, you know what? That's a good idea. I'll just do that. It's also just generally a good item. Yeah, see those exploding rocks? That's what killed me in that room. All items are genuine. Grab them while you can. This baby's a guaranteed 100% genuine silver shield. You can buy the silver shield here, but you probably shouldn't, since he's absolutely lying. Ice physics. So, that glowing thing at the bottom left of the screen is a pool of lava. As you can see, my health's going down. Cool trick here is, if you hit this platform enough to make it fall into the lava, ice plus lava equals hot spring. This is the only other hot spring in the game. And it's in a much less convenient location to work to than the one in the starting village. But on the other hand, it's very much appreciated in the middle of the worst area in the game. Money can't buy the real thing. There's your big hint. The silver shield being sold by that giant is not the real thing. It's a fake. A meeting of man and women. Inside the man, the seed of life is born. Okay. So, money can't buy the real thing, huh? And how do we get into the room I just went through? It looked like it had an entrance on the top of it, but we didn't see any ways down a couple rooms back. Well, actually, it's just hidden right here. And once you go in, you get the true silver shield. The one at the store acts like the true silver shield, but once the shield breaks, you have to go back to the store to buy another one. The true one that you get here, when it breaks, you just have to re-equip it. Now that I have this shield, I can go back heal up at the hot springs, and now we can take on Pazuzu with a bit more, shall we say, success, most likely. One thing I probably need to mention, because you can't feel this, but the controls in this game are extremely tight. It definitely feels, while there's a bit more articulation in terms of jumping, it feels like old NES controls, where if you want to jump somewhere, you better be absolutely certain of what you're doing. And of course, everything has Castlevania levels of knockback, so movement can be a challenge in this game in certain cases. Oh. Yeah, if you get hit once, you can't wall climb, so... left, right, that. Pazuzu time. The reason the Silver Shield helps in this fight is because, to an extent, I believe it does block projectiles. But it's a very small thing, but it can be helpful. Always take shelter under a thing when there aren't any rocks on the screen because his next move will always be to drop rocks, and if they fall on top of you, I believe they do kill you. Now this time, okay, so here's where that thing comes in. Point it to the right, and it will go right. Point it to the left, and it will go left. And if you fuck up once, you can't get it. That's probably a good idea to save at this point, so if I fuck this up, we don't have to fight Pazuzu again. So I will go ahead and do that, even though we will have to do a somewhat needless run through that fire pit again, which is annoying, but not nearly as difficult as fighting Pazuzu or getting the timing right on the puzzle. I'm used to if you see me like jumping through ladders a lot, that's once again because I've been playing the second game, where you can actually get onto a ladder mid-jump. There's a whole bunch of little control differences like that they're really good in the second game, and they work well once you get used to them. Oh shit. But it makes going back to the first game somewhat difficult if you have spent a long time playing the second. Here we go. Left means left. Oh, fuck. And the other nasty thing about this puzzle is that if you don't move fast enough, it very much can kill you. And no matter what, whenever you die, even if you've already dealt with Pazuzu, you do have to go back through the fire gauntlet. Okay, got it this time. Be very careful, you don't want to fall. And there we go. You get the chain whip. Basically, the first upgrade to the whip. Now it does more damage. So, the thing about this puzzle is this does not reset when you leave the room. So basically, since you can only since you have to put a thing on the pedestal first, the only way you can get up there is using these columns, and you need to get in between where the columns block when they go up to actually get the item. If you don't manage it on your first try at a column, the second column will do absolutely nothing to help you, and you will just be locked off from the chain whip forever. Thankfully, the second game did not have any puzzles that were one-time only. Although there were a few day one glitches that ended up causing problems. Thankfully, that puzzle is finally over. Once we heal up, we can make our way to the fourth boss of the early game. Technically at this point, and since I have the flares, I could explore more of the Chamber of Extinction, but that would be once again going way, way, way out of order. So instead, let's just make our way to the Spring in the Sky. Now I'm going to bring a healing fairy with me, because getting to the room without getting hit can be a challenge, and it'll also help during the early stage of this boss fight. This is a very tricky boss, especially compared to the previous three, who were really essentially pushovers. Our load up for the fight. Yep. So we have mode 7 going on. There's my fairy. This is the most annoying bit because this is one of the few attacks you can't really hit Bahamut while he's doing. Like, you can even hit him during that, when he gets up to the front. That went much quicker than I expected. And we actually come out up here at the source of the waterfall. Plus the boat just stays there as a little platform. So, Zelpad tells us a new laptop has come out. It's me. 2 new models of the laptop you're using arrived at the village. There is 1 left in inventory at the store. I already bought the other one. If you don't hurry, I'll buy the other one too as a backup machine. Thanks, Zelda. So, now that we have a platform to stand on, we can actually open up this. Can't actually get to it yet. The game wants us to get the get a new ability first, but there's a pretty easy way to cheese that. Now that we've actually opened it, we can just go back to the spring. Fairy points take a little while to recharge. We just used one, so won't be available for a bit longer. Gosh. I was taking a drink of water when the platform came by, so I missed it. I know there's a seal there, but it's not super important right now, so I'm gonna leave it be. It mostly just opens up a shop. So if we just go back over here, at this point, what used to be Bahamut's boss room is just a shortcut to outside. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm not doing that whole thing again, so let's try to get this through the old way. I appreciate the use of knockback as a challenge element to a certain extent, but come on, man. There we go. Right, now we get another sacred orb. Oh, the closed tent, that's where we got Mechari Master earlier. The tent closed up after it gave us that. Remember that adorable little skeleton that was singing about the games? So, as the Elder said... Okay. Now he's talking to us about Mulbrook, actually. Well, I'll be. You found the sleeping one. The stories were true. What a surprise. And you say it was a young living girl? Lucky you, I feel ages younger already. But to think, such a girl was found alive. Just maybe there's some truth to the legend about the 4 philosophers that are waiting for the strong one. Want to hear that again? Okay, then. And now, this is the Mobile Super X2. It'll run circles around your laptop. We are going to buy this, but first let's just see what happens when we say no. Once again, Never is perhaps not the best at handling customer rejection. If we go back in, she'll just be selling weights again. So the Mobile Super X2 literally all it does is double our memory storage capacity. We used to have 1,000, I assume, megabytes of memory. We now have 2,000. Which means we can finally load Death Village and Mech Remaster onto our computer with all this other stuff. Except they don't do anything yet, so there's no point. So, we've beaten the first 4 bosses. This is a bit of a turning point, since Area 5, the Inferno Cavern, didn't seem to have a boss room we could actually reach. This is the part of the game where you're expected to kind of just start poking around a bit and finding a whole bunch of the secrets that I've already mostly gone over. But there's the main things that you're going to be wanting to do at this point are the Tower of Ruin and Seeking Eden. The Tower of Ruin, you get there from the mausoleum, the graveyard of the giant, actually. And Seeking Eden is mostly in the Temple of Moonlight. So, with that 4th boss defeated, and with approximately almost 3 hours since we started, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream for today, if that's alright with everyone. Next Sunday should be the next time that I can do this. Thank you all so much for coming. Really means a lot to me, especially after I couldn't do this for so long. That I've gotten such a great turnout here. So yeah. Make sure to save the game, and I will see you guys. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye!